and about the AI. Now I think Dr. Mushira Azairat will taking the next sessions is practitioner session number 4, best practices for entrepreneur ecosystem. The mic with Dr. Mushira to chairing the session.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Hanadi. First of all, I'd like to express my sincere thankful for you, Dr. Hanadi, because of arrangement this conference. And it is a great pleasure to participate in a panel with you, our guests, and to welcome them all in this event. Also, as I told you, I would like to express my personal thank for you, Dr. Hanadi. And today our topic is a very important topic, as you know. We all know that our organization now is confronting a time of many changes, and we are meeting these changes during a time of larger national and global change. Our technology today have advantages more rapidly. Gadgets like smartphones, laptops, and computer connected to the web, which allow us to upload and download information that can quickly move through our network sites, etc. The new form of communication connect us for a million and billions of people across the world. So today, we will be very happy to talk about the best practice for entrepreneurial ecosystem. I'd like, first of all, to shed the light on the recent years, the role of entrepreneurs and micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises has steadily gained importance in development cooperation, being one of the driving forces for job creation, business innovation, and the green inclusive growth development cooperation seeks ways to support entrepreneurs and micro SMEs in developing and emerging countries. In a majority of those countries, micro small SMEs account for a large share of national economic activity. So what is the relevance of the entrepreneurial ecosystem for development, the cooperation? In the light of, in the light of this, medium and micro small enterprises play a leading role in meeting the economic dimension of the Sustainable Development Goal, SDGs, launched by the United Nations in 2015. In order to develop efficient supporting measures, it is essential to gain a holistic understanding of the environment in which entrepreneurs and micro SMEs are operating, the so-called entrepreneurial ecosystem. So if we want to explain more about the definition of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, as most of you mentioned, that the concept of entrepreneurial ecosystem consists two terms. The first term, entrepreneurial, which refers to the micro, small, medium enterprises, mostly in their starting and scaling phase. The second part is entrepreneurship, is often understood as a driver of innovation and productivity as an engine for the sustainable economic growth. In the classic sense, entrepreneurs are people who are starting their business, hire laborers, mobilize resources, and ensure that their operation business keep running. Entrepreneurs are those people or the persons, when I mean by persons, the business owner in general, who seek to generate values through the creation of expansion of economic activities by identifying and exploring new product, process, and markets. In the context of development cooperation, it's important to acknowledge the distinction between the so-called necessity-driven entrepreneurial and the improvement-driven entrepreneurs. What we call it opportunity-driven. You can use the guide for both groups depending on the target of group that you select for your mapping. So in the natural science or in natural science ecosystem are generally defined as a system or a group of interconnected elements formed by interaction of a community organism of their environment. Like biological ecosystems, an entrepreneurial ecosystem consists of different elements, which can be individuals, group, organization, and institutional that form a community by interacting with one another. But also environmental, yes?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, there's something, or could I complete? Okay, so also environmental determinants that have an influence on how these actors will work and interconnect an entrepreneurial ecosystem. These can be laws and policies or cultural norms. Neither biological nor entrepreneurial ecosystem can be created, designed, or built by an outside actors. While this makes the term entrepreneurial ecosystem hard to grasp, it does underline the entrepreneurship support programs operate in complex and highly dynamic environment. For this reason, it is particularly important to take sufficient time to analyze and understand the ecosystem before designing intervention to support it. So let us talk about the element of an entrepreneurial ecosystem. There are numerous definitions of what the entrepreneurial ecosystem is and how it functions. One of the most important, frequently used model was developed by Daniel Eisenberg.
Hi there.
We all that know Daniel Eisenberg. According to him, the entrepreneurial ecosystem consists 6 domains: policy, finance, markets, human capital, support, and culture. Eisenberg focus and that every entrepreneurial ecosystem is unique as it develops under idiosyncratic as circumstances. They are geographically bounded, but not confined to a specific geographical scale, which means that they can refer to a nation or be limited to smaller geographical areas like cities. In addition, there are examples of industry-specific ecosystem, but also ones that span various industries. So in this guide, for the purpose of mapping, the entrepreneurial ecosystem is defined as a product of 3 elements. The first one is the surrounding environment, more precisely to the business environment and investment climate, its actors, and the third one, the evolving culture and attitude. The business environment, as the donor committee for the enterprises development, OCED, define it as a complex of policy, legal, institutionally, and regulatory conditions that govern business activity. It includes the administration and enforcement mechanism established to implement government policy, as well as the institutional arrangement that influence the way key actors operate, like the governmental agencies. So when we are talking about the business environment and investment climate, we should talk about functional area of business environment reforms, which includes simplifying business registration and licensing procedures, in addition to improving tax policies and administration. Also, enabling better access to finance, improving labor laws and administration, improving the overall quality and regulation governance, improving, in addition to improving land titles, registered and administration, simplifying and speeding up the access to commercial courts and the alternative dispute regulation mechanism, in addition to broadening public-private dialogue and improving the access to market information. Hello, when we are talking about the financial market, which include access to finance, financial regulation, we are talking about the rule of law, meaning law right, which can, for instance, inhibit corruption, regulation, the business registration process. Also, human resources and the skills like the technical, vocational education, and the skills of actors. Economic predictability, meaning the overall microeconomic stability and growth path. The business environment is a subset of investment climate, which take a broader view of a country's competitiveness as a part of the investment climate. The DCED differentiate between 7 domains. These 7 domains are infrastructure, the meaning, the technical structure, like roads, telecommunication, energy, in addition to the political situation, which ensure planning security and increase risk tolerance among the micro SMEs. Also, labor markets, which meaning the availability of a skilled worker and sufficient matchmaking between the work supply and the work demand. So both the business environment and the investment climate influence an entrepreneurial ecosystem and have to be taken into account in its analysis. For the mapping, it is recommended to mainly focus on the business environment, as this is more likely to be the area that can be tackled in the framework of the PSD program. In addition, the mapping should take a closer look at the most relevant, being the ones that could be targeted with intervention investment climate component, which from the perspective of a PSD program would be economic predictability, political situation, and labor market. So accordingly, you can assess the business environment and investment climate on various levels, regional, national, and sectoral levels. To date, most analysis and report mainly focus on the national levels. Only few analysis focus on cities. However, this is changing as more and more cities are starting to promote themselves as entrepreneurial hubs. Also, when we are talking about the Doing Business report, which is published annually by the World Bank, is one of the most established benchmark reports focusing on the business environment on country level. Its basis is a set of indicators that measures the cost that derives from the regulations, such as starting a business, measures the number of days and number of procedures, or dealing with benchability. The data of the DPR provide one country level is useful when it comes to assessing this element of country's ecosystem. So accordingly, Other factors that influence the country's competitiveness, such as the macroeconomic environment, inflation, governmental debts, governmental budget balance, the market size, and health and the primary education. So therefore, it is a suitable source to use when we plan to analyze the foreign investment climate. Classical business climate surveys often neglect to take in a closer look to which actor is doing what, which capacities they possess, and how they interact with each other. However, this is an important aspect to consider in order to fully understand the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Therefore, this guide takes up the issue as a part of interacting actors, the second of the three elements. So we are still talking about the interacting actors. We are talking about an entrepreneurial ecosystem provide a stage for a variety of actors that influence the contactiveness of a place toward the entrepreneurship and different means. This is why many ecosystems mapping approaches look at the actors and their roles in the ecosystem. It's important to know which actor either constrain or foster entrepreneurial activity, and whether there are any relevant actor missing. So accordingly, the actors can be individuals such as business, founders, or investors. In addition, it may be organization, meaning a social unit of people set up and managed to achieve specific goals or serve certain purposes, like companies, universities, banks, or either institutions, which are in a sociological sense, long-standing and stable pattern of behavior which guide the human, such as values, family, and religion, etc. Rather than merely finding out whether all type of actors are present in an ecosystem or whether they are engaged, enable or hinder entrepreneurial, you want to analyze their capacities and their interconnectedness. Whereas some individual and organization are interconnected through the collaboration, mutual support, or other relation, others slowly coexist or are unaware of each other's existence. Now, according to the GIZ management model, capacities works, collaboration among individuals, organization, and institutional depend on various factors, and these factors including benefits, which mean all cooperating partners expect a benefit for themselves. The second one is transaction cost. The results achieved by the cooperation cover the association cost. In addition to the synergy, which is the cooperation partners are able to create new potential for all by using their individual. A mapping of the entrepreneurial ecosystem illustrates the actors' role, which indicates their importance and interconnectedness between them. So there are various visualization methods that can be used to assist the entrepreneurial ecosystems actors' elements, their geographical distribution, or mapping them according to the different stages of a business, from the ideation to growth and scale. So capacity work, so until now, another point to keep in mind when observing the actor's element is that an actor's role and importance can change over time. So capacity work assumes that the role and the behavior of actors are mainly determined by their genius interest and their position within an ecosystem, but also recognizes that they are influenced by rules and norms. This is what leads us to the third element of the ecosystem approach, the entrepreneurial culture and attitude. So I think I'm in the save time. يعني I'm still يعني maybe 2 minutes or 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Is that right, Doctor Hanadia? So when we are talking about the culture of society has a large impact on the entrepreneurial ecosystem. It affects the individual's attitude toward the entrepreneurial and therefore the likelihood of becoming an entrepreneur and development cooperation. It's increasingly recognized that culture and attitude alongside social protection scheme are important factors that determine a country's level of entrepreneurship. There are many functioning of entrepreneurial ecosystem. When mapping the entrepreneurial ecosystem, you will concentrate on the factors that influence the contentiveness of a given context toward the entrepreneurial activity, such as the existence of support scheme for entrepreneurs or the attractiveness of the entrepreneurship as a career choice. These factors are the determinant of the entrepreneurial ecosystem. If you want to look into the actual performance of an ecosystem or the impact it has, you need to focus on different set of measures. Ideally, entrepreneurial ecosystem contribute to a positive economic impact, like successful new business, new jobs, increase income, etc. But to assist the entrepreneurial ecosystem performance, it can be helpful to study and monitor the following performance indicators, which are birth and death, survival rate of new businesses, in addition to entrepreneurial activity among the population, registration of a new business, job created by new business, exports by new business, investment secured by new business like loans and equity. Useful data source can be national level statistics or the OECD's publication entrepreneurship at a glance. However, many relevant entrepreneurial activities most likely take place in the informal sector. Hence, data availability is limited and qualitative judgment by expert need be taken into account. So now just let me shed the light on the 5 steps on to mapping the entrepreneurial ecosystem. The process of observing, analyzing, visualizing the entrepreneurial sector in a given context is a mapping. With mapping, you can take closer look at each of the elements like business environment, investment climate, actors, culture, and attitude. It grasps their specific characteristic like the business law, supportive institutional, cultural traits, and assess their role and function as well as their interplay within an entrepreneurial ecosystem. This eventually allows you to uncover gaps and constraints that the newly designed PSD intervention should be focused on. Through observation and analysis of the entrepreneurial ecosystem will require more time than a planning mission team typically has at its disposal. Nonetheless, the context analysis can serve as a valuable pieces for comprehensive mapping. Thank you so much. I hope that I committed to finish my presentation with 20 minutes. I'd like to thank you so much. Thank you. دكتور مطيع. Hello, Dr. Mutia.
Hello, Doctor.
You look glamorous as usual, Doctor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, it's yours, Doctor.
I have 10 minutes, huh? Dr. Mushira? Dr. Mushira?
Yes, Doctor, you have 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the invitation to attend this conference, Dr. Hanadi and Dr. Mushira. Thank you very much. I am now speaking of the entrepreneurial education ecosystem. And first, I will talk about the entrepreneurship in economic and personal and global. Majority of the new jobs are created by entrepreneurial and small business. Moreover, small high growth companies account for 17% of economic growth over last decade. Entrepreneurial drive economic competition at the local, state, and the global. And entrepreneurial has a unique position in the new economy. And finally, entrepreneurship contribute of all technical innovation. This is the importance of economic, but in the personal important entrepreneurial education ecosystem to the personal. 7 of 10 high school students want to start their own business. Moreover, more opportunity to exercise creative freedoms and higher self-system. They create a sense of control over your life and the future. This is and the importance of the entrepreneur education in education ecosystem. Many experienced business people, political leader, economic and educator believe that fostering a robots entrepreneurial culture will maximize individual and collective economic and social success on a local, national, and global. The importance of education, entrepreneurial education, what objectives to become entrepreneurially minded with the potential, the potential to act of this by discovering or creating business opportunity. Lifelong learning process for elementary to adult. Entrepreneurial are not born, but become through the experience of their lives. Entrepreneurial have a great diversity of personal characteristics. The common one begin willing to take risk in return for a profit. Anyone can be an entrepreneur at any time on one life. This is important idea. Entrepreneurship not learned by reading a textbook and then taking a test to prove you are one. Entrepreneurship education activities are a real life vehicle for developing academic skills. Entrepreneurs are found in every occupation and career. Entrepreneurial education opportunity are important to all levels of education. Now I will talk about the lifelong learning model, and this model in this model we are active in my university, Amman Arab University. You are this is a model have 5 stages. From basic to growth. The basic stage is in this stage we are focused on factors of business ownership and understanding the basic of economy, career opportunity, and the basic skill be successful of a free in a free market economy. Then the motivation. In Amman Arab University, we select this is the one step for this stage. Select the challenge student and divided them into groups to build their ability, I mean a capacity building. Next stage, it is the competency awareness. The student will learn to speak a language of business and see the problems from the small business owners point of view. This particularly needed in career and technical education. The emphasis is on beginning competences that may be taught as enter into entrepreneurship class or included as part of other course related entrepreneurship. For example, cash flow problem could be used in a math class, and sales demonstrations could be part of a communication class. The next stage, creative applications. So in this stage, there is so much to learn about starting and running business. It is not surprising that so many business have trouble. We expect future, as example, we expect future doctor to learn their profession through a year of formal study. But we have expected a small business owner to learn everything by attending weekend seminar. In this stage, student can take time to explore business idea and variety of ways to plan the business. I need to focus on the variety of business. Although it is still only an educational experience, a student must gain a greater depth and breadth of knowledge than they may have from the previous stage. This stage encourages students to create a unique business idea and carry the decision-making process through a complete business plan. The best program enable students to actually experience the operation of a business as well. This stage may take in advanced high school career and technical program, 2-year college, where there are special course and associate degree program, and some college and university. The outcome of is for a student to learn how it may be possible to become an entrepreneur and to practice the process of business. Next step, startup. Okay. After adults have time to gain job experience and further their education, many are in need of special assistance to assemble a business idea. Community education program focusing on business startup assistance are widely available in career and technical program. Community-based assistance program, community college, and 4-year college and university. The AAU Amman Arab University Small Business Administration sponsors many of these training programs. Finally, stage growth. Often business owners do not seek help until it is almost too late. A series of continuing seminar or support groups can assist entrepreneur in organizing and potential problem and how to deal with them through and timely manner. Many economy, college, and continuing education program at university or college offer such seminar and workshops for their business community. They recognize that the best economy development plan to help communities existing business growth prosper. Finally, educators are at each of these stages of entrepreneurship should focus on their own special outcomes and reach out for partnership with educators and other level of this lifelong learning process. There is room for entrepreneurship in some way everywhere in our education system. Thank you for your listening. Dr. Mushira.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much, Dr. Mutia. Dr. Mutia, please let us invite Mr. Dana. Miss Dana Hajawi. Miss Dana, you are muted.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
You are welcome.
Hello, Miss Dana.
Hello. So happy to see you all here.
The pleasure is mine, Dana. So go ahead with your presentation. Dr. Mutia, could you just finish your sharing the presentation?
Yes, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
thank you so much. So just a minute, please. Yeah.
Take your time, dear.
So good day and greetings, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you all for such a great pride for entrepreneur and artificial intelligence in our MENA region. I would like as well to thank you, Dr. Mushira, for this great opportunity. I would like to thank as well Dr. Hanadia Limbarki for the great initiative to enhance the concepts of technology, artificial intelligence, and entrepreneurship ecosystem in our communities. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Advocate Dana Al-Hijawi. I'm the legal and lawyer and legal advisor, the founder and CEO of DH Law, TH Law MENA. First of all, I would like to focus on some few topics with regarding to the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and starting by simplifies things in this concept and give you more experiences for the current communities and what we have as entrepreneurial ecosystem experiences. So about a lot of authors and a lot of people have been shared a lot of concepts for the entrepreneurial ecosystem base. Usually we say that as it's the peculiar system that of interdependent actors of relation directly or indirectly supporting the creation and the growth of new ventures. Some of authors just represented as the set of different elements such as the cultural policies network that affect the local or the regional creation of the new businesses. Some of authors just have it in a system shape for the system shape of beliefs, value, and the way of being for the develop in the particular social and economic environment. For our part of view and with reference for all the experiences that we have in the entrepreneurial ecosystem base, we just always find it as a tank. Let's have this tank and fill it out with all the support, the human capital, the market, the policy, the government, the regulations and support. So with back to the GIS, which is the main entity who've been already mapping the and defined the entrepreneurial ecosystem. They defined and they're determined by two main elements, which is the entrepreneurial, which is referred to MSMEs mostly, and the entrepreneurial ecosystem, that the different elements which can individual and the group and organizations, institutions have a community further in one tank. For our perspective as speakers, and after having more than 100 entrepreneur success projects in our MENA region, we're just found it always as it's the all surrounding system that come together to support the process of the establishment of startups in the communities that received and or host the ideas and the methodologies of the entrepreneurs project. This concept, having the whole ecosystem elements together and having as well the hosting idea, the idea of hosting entrepreneur projects, because without having a community that can host an entrepreneurial based project, we cannot have even the whole ecosystem elements. So we back to this tank and we put all the entrepreneurial finance, government, education, R&D, culture and social norms, government and policy, market, and the physical infrastructure. We have it all in one tank. We make it as one element, and then after we can move for the elements that can have been under the umbrella of entrepreneurial ecosystem. So we have the 6 elements, as we know, as per of Daniel Asmer concepts, which is the policy, finance, market, human capital, support, and culture. And you know that it's been defined between the 3 elements, which is the surrounding environment, the interact actors, and the involving culture and attendees. So when we have this tank, and after knowing all the elements, this is the main topic for this presentation, which is the best practice for the entrepreneurial ecosystem, as well how the 6 elements of the entrepreneurial ecosystem will affect from a real projects in our communities, how it's been effective, and what is the best practice for each element. So let's start by the policy perspective. Usually the policy perspective is like, consists of leadership and government. And usually we said like about the open door for advocates, the entrepreneurship strategy, the laws and regulations, the financial support, the jumpstart starts funds, the framework of initiatives, the tax benefit, the research institute. But after asking 10 entrepreneurs in our community and after having this survey, we found that the best practice for the policy perspective is to create a board flexible of legal framework that bears the idea of startups communities, which is having been in a frame of less cost and expenses, as well as we cannot just treating the startup communities by like already the existing communities to practice in their businesses. We have to find this flexible board of legal frameworks that can bear and that can hang the idea of starting businesses. The second phase is to create a legal framework that does not oblige the entrepreneur to register a legal entity from day one. This is so important part. Usually the entrepreneur, they have to been in from 3 to 6 months, like in a lab of experiences and how this business will go in this community. Unfortunately, in our communities in MENA region, they sometimes force the entrepreneur to register an entity, sometimes to register under the intellectual property laws, sometimes to like, it's a real project, so you have to have it in the governance framework. But usually for the entrepreneurship, we just always say this cannot be compared with already existing company. So we'll have to find something flexible more. Let's have it from finance perspective. In MENA region, until now, we have like a financial a lack of financial support for entrepreneurship. And this is like exactly the opposite, which been implemented in the United States of America, Canada, and EU. Unfortunate in the MENA region, the concepts of the microloans or the family friends loan or fundraising is until now is weak. So we're just found out, and after asking 10 participants of our submitted surveys, is like it's to creating a crowdfunding platform that provide the opportunity for entrepreneurs to provide their project as to public, and then to gain trust for the audience. So then after to support the financial support for these entrepreneurship, and as well for having a mutual support by the regional bank. So if we have this base from the regional bank, the mutual support, then the entrepreneur, they can get the confidence of getting the loans from public and audience. The culture is usually, it consists of the social norms, the visible success, the wealth of funders, the innovation, the creativity, the wealth creation, and usually we say is the best practice in our East Mediterranean community is to create this social interactive events to support the entrepreneurs, motivate their ideas, and for having the support starting from their families and their home. This is the main essential thing for having this practice, and from the family, from the home, from the surrounded community. Then we'll have like the support. The support usually we're just having like the multi-elements, which is the infrastructure, the telecommunication, the support professionals, and the non-governmental institutions, which is, and always we love to highlight on the non-governmental institutions. They already been in this practice before, they already been in starting new businesses before. So the best practice for the support element in the entrepreneurial ecosystem is to imposing the community services for each service provider that has come with more than 10 employees by providing 8 hours to serving the entrepreneurial, let's say even a month. This would be great. We always, as my vision of DH Law, having like the light in the tag for the success stories and the best practice that we can do as services providers for the entrepreneurial systems, which is here in my law firm, we opened and established initiative called La'am in Arabic, which is support in English, to support all entrepreneurs to register their intellectual property rights, patent, trademarks, copyrights, everything in the local and regional markets. This exercise been shared with more than 25 entrepreneurship projects per year, and we gain this entrepreneur trust, and after that they become like a great bright in this not ordinary thing. As well, for the examples is for social services community, so we're providing the full legal services to implement their vision, which is to related to textile factory waste recycling products, and we have so many of that. So in this conference, I would love to share my thoughts is we have as services providers expertise, professor, to share this pride and to be the bright in this future for those people. We have to support them in all our having resources to succeed. So the human capital base, which is the last element that I would like to talk about, which is the labor and the people who will support the real entrepreneurs and this generation and the principles. So we usually say we just to allow the entrepreneurs to recruit the trainees, and the page should be in by the vocational training institutions, which is usually covered by government, and the market, the last and the least, which is to create a social media platform that it's just only for entrepreneurial idea and promote their ideas on the TV shows, and following the examples of the American experiences. Success story that we have it from community in the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, and I'm so proud that this project has been applied in the treasury of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, which is Stevia Joe. Stevia Joe is a perfect example for the 6 elements and the best practice for implementing and enhancing the 6 elements of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and how we as services provider, as community, as government support this project. Mainly, this project, Stevia Joe, is powered by engineer Wala Abu Shanab from Jordan, a Loyal Joe company, and we make it as case study to implement and enhance the 6 elements of our entrepreneurial ecosystem. So for the policy, we just have it, we create a legal framework that could be matched the current rules and regulation which applies in the Ministry of Agriculture. For the finance, we got a loan. Actually, it was not a fund or a grant, unfortunate, but we're always looking for the bright side. So we got the loan for the product. For the market and the human capital, we promote the alternative sugar idea. And for the human capital, which is we attract all the agriculture college trainee, and we start enhancing the ideas of hydroponic and how we will raise stevia plants in the hydroponic environment, and the experiences was perfect. The support we supported from our community, the local, the audio visual media. We supported as us as legal services providers. We supported as IP registration support provider, and culturally we enhancing the idea of empowering the women in the agriculture sector. So I'd like to share the idea of Stevia Joe as a success story for the best practice to implement and enhance the 6 elements for the entrepreneurial ecosystem in our communities. Last and not least, I would like to thank you all for such a great listening. Dr. Mushira, the mic is yours. Thank you so much, and I'm ready for any questions and or clarifications.
Okay, thank you so much, Dana, for the greatest stories that you have promoted here in our conference. You both, I would like also to invite Dr. Mutia for just a quick discussion regarding for the best something, or what we the practitioner session, our session is which is about the best practices for the entrepreneur ecosystem. You and Dr. Mutia promoting very successful stories regarding for Amman Arab University and the HLOs, in additional to Stevia project, which is a very successful stories here in Jordan. So accordingly, let me please allow me, Dana, to start with Dr. Mutia.
Sure.
Dr. Mutia, as you know, Dr. Mutia, in the recent years, entrepreneurship ecosystem building has become somewhat of a field in the world of small business support. It is because of other psychoeconomic factors that started 2 decades ago. I would like to attract your attention for POC, for Mr. Thomas L. Friedman's named or titled "The Word is Flat." A brief history of the 21st century outlined the impact that technology has had on the ability for people to start business that can effectively compete the large cooperation. This paper doesn't serve as an exhaustive guide to how ecosystems are built, and its primary purpose is to spark your curiosity to seek out and learn from the best practices we mentioned throughout. Most ecosystem builders are lifelong learners, and some of this work takes decades to manifest its impact. So, Doctor, accordingly, could you please just explain for us how to build a successful entrepreneurship ecosystem?
Okay, thank you for this question, Dr. Mushira.
Doctor, you are our teacher in the ecosystem entrepreneurial as entrepreneur in Amman Arab University.
Thank you. Thank you for this question, Dr. Mushira. The starting a business that can quickly scale is now easier than ever before. Because of the nation, we have seen the rise of the auxiliary industries that both support and benefit from a new business formation in symbiotic relationship. Some examples are popular television shows such as Shark Tank. Okay. Yeah. An increase in startup acceleration.
Yes.
And to some extent, co-working spaces. There are also support services that have a more formal structure with government and non-government both. Okay.
Yes.
Services that have a more formal structure with government and non-government backing life.
Yes.
As a community development, financial, institutional, other help disperse capital, provide business consulting services, and monitor small business like maybe small business development center and service corps of retired accelerators. Finally, there are the economic development organizations focused on improving the economy. Yes. These organizations exist at the local or state and national level. This organization primarily focus on driving job creation, business attraction, and retention, and fostering entrepreneurship and small business growth. According to International Economic Development Council, the 4 pillars of economic development include prospering, skills, innovation, and livability.
Yes.
With a mandate, this broad entrepreneurial activity is support at various level based on awareness, as the model I spoken in my presentation, and understanding of the importance impact it can have economic development. God willing, I could answer, Mushira.
Yeah, you have that, Doctor. So accordingly, Doctor, as you told, as we all know that entrepreneurs are key contributor to job creation, economic stability. So your long-term strategy should include ways to support their success by building maybe effective entrepreneurship ecosystem. Maybe for me, having worked in over 100 communities for over 10 years or 15 years, let me say, I see many entrepreneurial people responding to external events and change that impacts your community, and they require ongoing adjustment to affect lasting and meaningful economic change. So accordingly, Doctor, I would appreciate you if you just tell us some strategies to sustain your entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Okay, Mushira, this is a difficult question. Okay, no problem.
Yes, Doctor. This is only, yes, we just send this question for you because it's very hard. We need someone to answer.
Okay. The ecosystem building is real work, and invitations can fill when the necessary time and resource commitment aren't taken into consideration. Dedicating staffing as critical to long-term success. Moreover, when you apply for a grant or seek funding, think about how staffing need can be written into your application. A few positions were recommend you consider are network builders. The first network builders service as the program director, managing relationship and overseeing operations. Next, network communicator. It is critical to share information about your work and celebrate success with the community. Another one, network navigator. Often entrepreneurs need a knowledgeable person to help them connect to resources. The navigator provides a direct link between services within the network and the entrepreneurs. And monitoring satisfaction as well as economic impact. We see, finally, a variety of staffing models include the cooperation between more than one organization. This approach, but this important approach has resulted in sustainable success for take a collaborative approach to staffing and funding this position.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
يعني God willing, I succeed in this answer, Mushira.
You did, Doctor.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your kindness. Now, just let me just skip to Dana. I want to attract your attention that I have a good, strong relation with this girl. She's the one. You cannot imagine how she involved in technology. We have worked with her. I have worked with her more than 5 years. I didn't see such a person who detected for his work like her, who promote women, who promote the work of digital like her. So when I want to ask her, I ask her with passion because I know the way you are thinking. Thank you, Mr. Michael, for your laughing. Okay, so the 5 years of operating Purple Ocean for Technological Empowerment has assisted almost 100 organizations with entrepreneurship and community development initiatives, helping them define and reach their unique goals for success. While our expertise lies in the field of entrepreneurship-led economic development, we have supported data connection, data analysis project in other industries such as broadband, healthcare, experiential learning, affordable hosting, blah, 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 etc. So Dana, I'd like you to tell them, you know that our Arab community in general is unfamiliar with the entrepreneurship-led economic development. So how do we facilitate discussion around the topic and begin building our ecosystem? I know that you led many successful projects here in Jordan in this field, and you're working with from the farmer until the elite people in this field. So accordingly, Dana, just please, we want you to explain for us, how do we facilitate discussion around the topic and begin building our ecosystem?
Okay. Excuse me, Dr. Mushira. Just
yes,
we have 1 minute to wrapping up the sessions because the other sessions is the keynote speaker and you have 1 minute to answer, Dana. We appreciate your potential and support for the conference. Thank you so much.
Never mind, Doctor. Never mind at all.
Okay, so first of all, thank you, Dr. Mushira, for kind words. So let's just answer this question quickly. The question is symbolize the concepts. Let people know about the startups projects by media, social media, influencers. Symbolize the entrepreneurship and symbolize the startup projects. Do a flexible legal framework. Do not make things looks like impossible and mission impossible for people. Let them start from the beginning. Us as expertise, all the legal services provider should support the entrepreneur concepts. The media, the social media, the influencers, the community influencers, and as well the event that we have it in our Arab communities should support the ideas of entrepreneur, and then we can enhance each element of the 6 elements for the entrepreneurial ecosystem elements. So this is it shortly and briefly. Dr. هنادي, thank you so much على المبادرة اللطيفة. انت هيك يعني ضويتي على إشي بمجتمعاتنا العربية كثير بنحبه. دكتور هنادي, again in English, thank you so much for being the great bright for the entrepreneur future in the MENA region. Dr. Mushira, thank you so much for kind words. Dr. Mutia, thank you so much for a great roundtable. Thank you so much all. My pleasure.
Yes, I'm really happy to discuss all of this with you, and I really appreciate all of you for your attendance, and I hope that this discussion continue out in our organization and into your families and the friends. Before I close, I'd like to thank each one of you. I'd like to thank you, Dr. Hanadi, for inviting us for such a great conference and bringing your expertise to our gathering. You as organization leaders have the vision, the knowledge, and the experience to help them pave our way into the future. You are truly our greatest assist today and tomorrow, and we could not accomplish what we we do without your support and leadership. Through this discussion, I ask you to stay engaged, keep us proactive, and help us shape the future of organization specialty field. My personal respect and thanks go out to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Doctora. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you, Dr. Dr. Hanadi, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Moti.
Thank you
all
for
the
all.
speakers.
Thank you.
Thank you.